Welcome back. For 4 decades, he witnessed the highs and lows of the American presidency through the lens of his camera. He is an International Photography Hall of Famer, and we're so thrilled to have him with us in Indianapolis this morning. Mr. Pete Souza is here, along with Charlie Hyde, President and CEO of the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site. Appreciate you guys making some time for us this morning. We'll start here. I guess, Pete, explain why you're in Indianapolis and kind of the partnership with the Benjamin Harrison Site and kind of how this came to be.
Well, this came to be because Charlie asked me to come and talk about my experience photographing 2 presidents as the official White House photographer. So that's how it came about.
And this is obviously a fundraiser for the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site, part of your Presidential Speaker Series. What attracted you to Pete and kind of his story and wanted you to make him be a part of this event?
So it's so important to be able to see the way that the American presidency affects our country. And Pete brings a really unique lens to that story. Obviously, we represent Benjamin Harrison, America's Hoosier president, 23rd president of the United States. But Pete's firsthand experience with an American president, I think, gives insight into all the presidents in a way, thinking about those 45 presidents across 46 administrations in our country's history.
Pete, at an event like this, I mean, obviously, you know, we listed just some of the things that you've done in your career there in the introduction, but the resume is extremely long. You've accomplished a lot. How do you sort of kind of sum it all up on a night like this when you're speaking to a crowd like you will be tonight at the Indiana Roof Ballroom? I guess what kind of message are you hoping the audience takes away from this?
Well, I hope they get a look at the 2 presidents that I knew, Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama, and have a better sense of what they were like as human beings. I mean, that's one of the things that I tried to do with my photography.
We're seeing some pictures right now.
Is show them in situations where you maybe didn't get to see them behind the scenes as human beings. Sometimes in historic events, but sometimes in very personal situations as you're seeing on screen.
And I think that's kind of what stood out to me when I was going through the photos before the show, and again, we just showed some of them right there. Obviously, again, you've captured some of the most important moments, good and bad, in American history, but showing kind of the lighthearted, showing the behind the scenes of these men who obviously we know as the commander-in-chief and what they mean to our country, but showing that there's a human side to it as well, and it seems like you've done a great job doing that throughout your career.
Well, and imagine, if you will, if photography had been advanced as it is now during the Benjamin Harrison presidency. What kind of, we'd be able to look back at that administration in a much different way to learn more about President Harrison than we can.
Right.
Because photography just did not exist in the same kind of way.
Yeah. Do you have this? I'm sure you've been asked this before, and it's probably extremely difficult to answer because you've taken tens of thousands of photos. Are there
I know
one or
what's
two?
coming. I know what's coming.
I'm sure, again, you've been asked this probably 100 times. Are there 1 or 2 that stick out to you as personal favorites?
You know, I always tell people that I always want them to look at my body of work.
Yeah.
With that said, I mean, I think the one picture that really resonates for me, especially with President Obama, is the one of the young kid, Jacob Philadelphia, touching his head.
Yeah.
You know, because if anything, Obama's presidency opened the door to young kids of color in a way that has never happened before in our country. And to see this young black kid touching the head of the President of the United States that looked like him meant so much to kids of color, I think.
Well, the talent speaks for itself. We're again extremely honored to have you join us here in studio today. Going to be a great event tonight at the Indiana Roof Ballroom. Again, raising money for the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site. Gentlemen, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for being here and enjoy Indianapolis.